Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at HBAR as well as the entire market. Now, the entire market, as you can see, is having a bit of a downturn, but we're going to be jumping into exactly where I think everything could be going over the next few days as well as week. But before we do so, make sure you guys go check out the Discord down below. You can see on the screen right now just how many trades our members have been winning from simply joining up and starting to copy and paste the trades that we're sending out to them every single day. It's been absolutely insane. So yeah, make sure you join up. It'll be the very first link in the description. Now back to the video. So HBAR actually had a relatively good May, at least a start to the May. So sure, we ended April after a bit of a pump from a very horrible March, and then we went into May at the support level of roughly 17 to 18 cents. The entire market then saw a pump as Bitcoin hit a new all-time high. Bitcoin went up to $112,000, whereas a few altcoins struggled to really go past any of their highs, and HBAR ended up coming to 22 cents. We had Ethereum actually start to perform relatively well. That went up to 2.7k. Other coins like Solana hit 187, 190, Polkadot 550. A lot of these coins saw a good move to the upside. Now, since we had the S&P also come back down slightly from 5.97k, nearly hit 6k, but has now come down since, and that's just sort of going into Friday, and yeah, even midweek we already started to get that downturn. So I think it's just a sort of consolidation for a lot of coins, a lot of assets, as again it's the middle to the end of the month. Next month we do have the FOMC meeting, obviously, which will dictate the interest rates that we get, whether we get rate cuts or rate hikes, and that will then dictate whether the market is able to actually go back into a bull run, or whether it's just going to stay stagnant, or whether we're going to go back into a bear market. So that's going to be very important. I think the market is pricing in a rate cut. At this rate where we're climbing up, it would be silly for us not to get a rate cut, and otherwise what will the market be pricing in? Because we never get any sort of rally that's not priced in. This rally, for example, if we go on the weekly chart right here, this was the Trump rally, the market pricing in that Trump will win the election. That's why when he actually won the election, we didn't get an insane pump. The insane pump happened during the election. Previously, leading up to the Bitcoin halving, what did we get? We got a pump that priced in the halving before we actually got to the halving, and that's what constantly happens. So it's going to be a very important month next month, as well as week in 2 weeks. These sort of weeks, from now to then, they're just going to be consolidatory weeks, really sort of brass weeks where not much is going to be happening, simply due to that fact. So we're going to stick to our plans. HBAR, for example, our initial entry was 22 cents, which would have been horrible if we didn't have any DCA. We would now be down 20%. However, our second entry was at 18 cents, or right here, to be honest, at 17.9, putting our average entry at roughly 18.5, 19 cents, as we entered very heavily on this one. And we had a third entry as well, which didn't get hit, but it was right here at just under 12 cents. So the plan stays the same. We're not DCAing right now. If we do head lower, great, that DCA area is going to get hit and we're just going to ride the upside. But apart from that, if it does now continue to go back up, targets are looking quite good. If we only target the previous high, that's already a 2x, and that's not even considering the all-time high, which would be, I believe, a 3x. 3.3x, which is insane. For buying a coin just purely on value, this is a really good return. A lot of people have to find new projects, new coins, go really risky to get sort of 3+x returns, whereas we can just find a well-established coin like HBAR, lots of utility applications, and guess what, it's at a great price right now. So what do? We just pick it up and hold until it gets some more news and rallies back up, because the news is inevitable. HBAR in specific had a lot of news during this specific segment of the market where it was horrible, and yet we still managed to pump 50%. So yeah, I definitely expect it to perform really well. Other coins I'm going to be keeping an eye out for will include SUI. This is coming back down, probably going to hit 320 this week. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, we're still up on our entries, up 60% right now. If it drops down to there, up 46%, not the end of the world. Again, we're still holding strong. I think SUI will see double digits this year. That means $10 plus. So yeah, I think SUI will perform really well. The team on SUI is great. The project is great. You have to remember that most of the SUI team are ex blue chip companies, employees. We have ex Meta, ex Google, ex Snapchat, huge company employees joined up, teamed up, and these weren't just your entry level devs. These were high up in the chain, and they joined up and they created SUI. and I think it's going to perform really, really well. And this is sort of just speaking to it. You know, it's one of the best performing altcoins, not only of sort of the start of or the end of 2024, but also just from this sort of dump into the rally. It's been performing really, really well. Render, another coin that I really like, is just slowly trading up. I do expect this to see a sort of blast once we get some more news regarding AI, whether that's Nvidia news, whether that's OpenAI news, anything like that will spike up not only Render but also Fetch, which is another coin I like. You know, two AI coins. Fetch down significantly today. It did hit nearly $1 though. You know, we were just milli cents away from hitting $1, now back down to 80 cents. Again, has been underperforming this year, I won't lie, but we can't ignore the performance from the past, and in the past it's hit $3.50, and this wasn't even during the peak of the sort of AI craze, unless it was, and unless AI just will have no updates since sort of this time. But I think, you know, the release of GPT 5.0 with Nvidia stations being built, I think we're going to see AI make a comeback, maybe Q3 Q4 of 2025, and we're currently in Q2. Other coins include Solana. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on this. I do think it's topped out near $300, but I think we will probably see it go back to at least mid 200s and 250, maybe even 260ish. ETH, again, significantly underperforming, but I do think we will see this coin come back up relatively strong. Maybe it won't blow past $5,000, but at least to hit $4,000, I think is, you know, a target in and of itself. It's 2.5x away from our entry, and that's not a bad return considering it's a second largest crypto, and there's not really been any major updates for the past year, maybe even 2 years. Yeah, Vitalik really needs to sort of crack the dev team and just start cracking out updates, but until then we're probably just going to see some similar movement and underperforming. Now, if you did enjoy the video and you did find it helpful, please do make sure to like and subscribe, as it does help out a ton. And if you want to be getting my trades every single day, then check out the Discord down below. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye, guys.